going to have a go at starting the local Kubernetes cluster and installing the open source Fabric operator console, and hopefully trying to start a network and see how we get on. So this is the repo. We will be going through some of the instructions that are over here, and going through some of these things here. I'll go through these step by step and show what's happening. Okay, let's swap over to console window. Useful to have a number of console windows open. So first of all, we need actually a kind cluster. So this is Docker. So Kubernetes running in Docker. We've got the just file contains the script to do this. Kind. Okay, that's off creating that. If we just look like a PS over here, you'll see something is coming up. Just to wait a few minutes for a moment for this to start. It can take a short while to do this. There we go, it's done the main creation of the cluster. Now it's just sorting out some NGX ingress controllers so we can handle things locally. So this gets on. It's one time setup, and certainly quicker than actually creating it in the cloud somewhere. I'm waiting for that over here. I'll start K8S, which is a very good command line monitor for things Kubernetes. Okay, right, that's complete. It set up the Qt config, and you can see you saw things changing over here as it was setting things up. Okay, so that's everything set up now. What I'm just going to run a command called review config. The just file, and this is really to put into the config directory. That's this config directory. Basically, copy in these YAML files that will define settings for the Ansible playbooks that we're going to run later. So this is just the type of configuration we're going to use for the Ansible playbooks. Primarily this is organisation names, IDs and so forth. Basically just putting those set of files, variable files there. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is actually create the, deploy the operator. I'm just going to, if I run that without targets, we can see various targets here. So we're just going to run the, deploy the operator now. So that is really just running a Ansible playbook here to deploy the operator to Kubernetes. So we're using a Docker image here to run the Ansible playbook as like a dev container. Because of the configuration and all the prereqs you need for running Ansible, it's easier to do that from a Docker container. If you've got everything set up yourself, obviously you can do that, but that is an easy way of getting started. We can see it's actually pulling up the container here. Its operator is running. We can look at that if we wish. Yep. Okay, so that's now complete. We've got that operator running. The custom resource definitions as well for all Fabric types and resources have been defined. So I wonder if we can actually see those. There we go. You can see those. The CAs, the console orders and peers. Definitions have been created. So we're just going to do the console next, which is the same deal, single Ansible playbook that is being used and running that in a Docker image. if we go back to the pods, you can see the console image is starting there, initializing. This one takes a fraction longer. While that is initializing, I'll show you where these playbooks are. So we did the operator, let's go to operator console playbooks. There's the two. So if you look at the operator install, very straightforward, single role, and notice the variable files we copied across earlier are being referenced. And let's look at the second one, console, again, very straightforward. Deploying the open source console by a single role. Keep in mind this is actually running locally on my machine in WSL2, so it does put a reasonable amount of, it does take a lot of memory. It's nearly there. Yeah. So the tools, K8S is created, the deploy is created, the console itself is running. Not quite ready yet. Yep. Still, there we go. Right. Boom. Done. So the actual playbook stops around here. Then it actually issues this curl command, which is to the console itself to get hold of a API key. You can see here he's put that API key into the CFG directory. So this is an API key that the Ansible playbooks can then use at a later stage to go and do stuff. We will, hopefully, if I can bring up this window. Now this isn't secured over SSL or TLS, so you got to go through the warnings to get in, but we can log in. I think it's under password as the default. You do have the, obviously, to get through the password change requirements. But we're into the operations console now, and we can actually see there's nothing yet created. Good if you want to go through and create here, but for ease, it's probably best to treat this as something to view and maybe make some changes. But the Ansible playbooks are probably the preferred method of creating resources. So we've got that API key now. Now I'm going to go into the sample network. Okay, again, we're running a actually running quite a few playbooks here, but there's one that contains them all. So over here, I'll just go and show you what these are. So those are the playbooks, and these are copied from the Ansible collection. So if we just look at the first one, we're going to use the auth vars that we got after we installed the console, and then import the playbooks to create the ordering organization, create the endorsing one. This is using the system channel approach still. Add organization, create channel, join the peer, add the anchor peer, create a second endorsing organization. So this is a 2org setup. Add that to the channel, and add the anchor peer to the channel. So that's heading off, doing its thing. You can see on the left it's working its way through. We're enrolling the organization. If we actually go here, let's go and look at the pods. can actually see we're creating some storage here. You can see the ordering organisation CA has come up. The ordering service nodes are coming up as well. And while that is doing that, I will just move and go to the CFG directory and show you that initially we have the variables there, the YAML files that said the names of the organisations and the authorization vars. The other files here are the identity files that are being created for the identities that are being created. So they've got the ordering admin and the CA admin there. Actually, I do look at one of them. See, it's a JSON format that's got the certificates, the CA, group cert, and the private key. If I just go back to the operations console and just refresh the page, you can see here I got ordering service created. The two CAs are as well. So now we're on to sorting out the peer. Yeah, there's the peer starting. See more storage being created. It is important to actually note something very important about the peer. It is the. I wanted to show you the. The configuration of this is, if you've noticed, it is using that's the init container. If you scroll down, we can see the image that it's using for the peer is actually the K8S fabric peer image. Now this is the same 2.4 peer image that would be used normally. However, this one has been rebuilt to pull in the Hyperledger Labs Kubernetes chain code builder, which makes a lot of this significantly easier to create. So when we come to sorting chain code out, because this has got the K8S builder installed within it, everything will be a lot simpler. So that's now running. Yeah, just CouchDB is the final thing to start. Yep, that's now started, that's good. Let's just see how many more we've got more identities. Yep, you can see org1 admin, org1 CA admin has been created. We're now sorting out some channel stuff on the left hand side. Nice, now into the second endorsing organisation. Go back to the console and refresh it. You can see the peer there, the ordering org CAs and so forth. This wallet here is empty. You'll see in a moment there actually really is nothing in this. Sorry about that. The identities that you would need in here are the ones that you saw earlier, the JSON files, and if you load those in here, then you'll be able to do full administration of the resources through the console. But because they've been created outside via Ansible, so we don't actually have them inside the console here. Okay, we're now creating the second peer. So, oh, yeah, we've got the second organisation there, admin and CI admin now. And you can see the second peer is coming up. There we go. Finally adding all the organisations, adding all the setting of all the channels. I'll show some of the config maps that have been created, and there are, you can see that there's quite a few have been created, but let's look at a couple that are the most important. And that will be this old one peer connection profile that contain all the information necessary to connect to the peers, the endpoints. Okay. Everything's placed on the left hand side. Just final look at what I did. If I haven't got any more identities, that's all of them. And then that connection profile will be very useful later on to connect applications. We will do deploying chain code in a different video.